A report from The Information is now claiming that Apple CEO Tim Cook, amid regulatory crackdown on manufacturing in China, made a secret $275 billion deal with China, promising Apple it would do its part in developing China's economy through investments, business deals, and worker training. In exchange for the big business Apple receives from China, its second biggest market after the United States. So here we are, an American company that appears to be helping China, our enemy, in turn, defeat us. That's why President Trump's Made in America policies were more important than ever. His former chief of staff joins me now. He's also author of the book, The Chief's Chief. Mark Meadows is here. Mark, it's great to have you back on the program.
Great to be back with you. I wish it were under better circumstances. You know, it's interesting when we start talking about China and the influence that they have, you know, probably our #1 national security threat. But, you know, in talking to a couple of friends of mine, you know, Mike and Glenn, you know, one from Texas, one from Virginia, you know, they actually outline the fact that it is not just that national security, but it's the economic threat. And what we find are U.S. companies obviously going around and making, you know, if the reports are true, secret deals with China in exchange for better regulatory compliance. I can tell you the tax cuts that President Trump was able to get done were designed to make sure that America was great and great again, but also for companies like this to do business here in America. And this is a very troubling report.
You know, clearly, China is a huge market. There's probably a lot of money that can be made by American companies in China. But at what expense, Mark Meadows, when you talk about technology companies like Apple going over there and helping China perfect its technology front, that could really, in the end, put America at risk, Americans at risk.
Well, it will, and it already is. I mean, we don't have to look any further than some of the testing of their hypersonic military components. When we look at intellectual property rights and their willingness to look at this, I can tell you, when I was a member of Congress, even before I was President Trump's chief of staff, one of the concerns that we had is that the Chinese will ultimately continue to steal intellectual property at rates so fast that if you don't get a U.S. product to production in 18 months, they will actually produce it with your plans. Yeah. I mean, this is extremely troubling, and to see the kind of hand-in-glove attitude that the Apple executives have here is something that we ought to really look at with a jaundiced eye.
Mark, what is it about politicians, President Trump excluded? He's the first president in my modern time that took China on head on. But what is it about politicians, and I'm going to lump Republicans in on this too, that they are so hesitant to confront China and call out China?
Yeah, I can tell you part of it is just the global economy aspect of it. But you mentioned it right. I cover it in the book, The Chief's Chief. President Trump actually taking on China, taking on President Xi. Not only was he negotiating to get a deal economically that benefited our farmers, but he was willing to call it out. And what we see now is a very weak attitude towards China. But even on Capitol Hill, we see that. And I can tell you, when we were in the White House, one of the biggest concerns I have is how much of the supply chain they actually control. And now with this Green New Deal that the Democrats are talking about, they would control essentially every electric battery in the world based on their rare earths that they have already purchased around the globe. And so we need to be on high alert, because it will affect Americans, not only in their pocketbook, but their national security as well.
Sometimes you have to think, with the actions of the Biden administration, we always ask, is Joe Biden on the take from China? Certainly appears to be, with many of these plans and policies that they have in this deal would line the pockets of China and do harm to America. Mark Meadows, as always, it's good to see you. Merry Christmas to you, sir. We'll see you again real soon.
Merry Christmas to you. Thanks so much. Glad to be with you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.